Hey team, welcome back to QuinnTalksMoney. Today we're going to walk through a full account setup of the Ellevest platform, which is a great robo-advisor investing platform. So we're just going to walk through how that actually works, what the steps are, and how to get your investments to start flowing in there. I did a part 1 video of this where we actually just review some of the different pricing options with Ellevest and a lot of the different features that they have as well. So if you haven't seen that yet, please feel free to check that out. The link is above right now. And then this one is just more of a walkthrough of how to actually get your account set up, how to change how much money you're actually investing, maybe on a month-to-month basis, and also just plan for some of your financial goals as well. So the first thing that you'll do, go to ellevest.com, Ellevest.com. You'll get to this little home page right here. Might look a little bit different for you, but all you'll do is in the top right corner, you'll click Get Started. This is basically going to open up an option for you to create your account. So in here, you'll basically just add your email address. And then you can add your little password. So it's just a little test one right here that I'm doing, just to kind of show you. You can read their terms of service as well to make sure you know what you're agreeing to. And you'll click Continue. It'll ask you to do a quick little email verification. So you'll get an email in your inbox. And once you do that, you'll get to this page where you can actually get started. So you'll say, let's get started. And then you'll have two options here, banking for life, start investing. It's just going to kind of walk you through the different, quick little overview about, learning more and earning more. And then this is where the algorithm and some of the personalization is going to come into play. So you'll add in some of your own personal information. Again, other than my name, I'm just putting in some random information here. But all of these answers are really important for you to answer accurately so that that Ellevest is able to use the algorithm and the robo-advisor to personalize your investing account and some of the investments that you're actually involved in. And also it'll help you to establish some of your goals so you can understand maybe how much you should be looking to put aside every month to have a certain amount in 20 years or 30 years, whatever your financial goals might be. This will really curate those investing decisions for you. So as I just kind of click through some of these here, you'll be able to just see some of the different questions they're asking you, because all of these are very important and relate to some of those investing decisions. And then you'll get to your money goals. So this is also important for you. What are your money goals? Maybe you don't know, that's okay as well. But just kind of picking, are you investing for an actual specific goal? Are you trying to pay off debt, plan for retirement? Everyone's going to have a little bit of a different situation. So just choose the ones that actually relate to you here. And then there's also a career focus. So Ellevest is also just great. Ellevest, as we talked about in the first video as well, is really centered around empowering women with investing because it's been a very gender-specific industry in the past where it's been mainly focused, on men. So this is kind of hoping to break down some of those barriers as well. So answering those questions is just kind of going to help. And they have a lot of resources for that too. And then here we actually get to the different plans. And I talk about these plans more in that first video as well. So I'd say if you're only going to be looking at investing right now, again, this is my own personal opinion, so every situation is different, and I would recommend you do your own research here. But if you're just going to be investing, the $1 a month plan is, in my mind, a very decent plan with lots of features. If you want to do retirement, that next tier is going to be what you would look at. And then the more expensive one, the $9 a month one, has higher discounts for like one-on-one sessions. You can do multi-goal investing and a couple other things as well. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to choose that $1 a month plan. We'll click Continue in here. It'll ask you to put a little contact information, things like that in. So just fill that in. And then this is the important part where you actually get to put your money from your bank account into Ellevest. So you'll link your bank here, and as you kind of figure this out, it'll also help you with direct deposits. So you'll click on this little link icon right here. Then basically what's going to happen is it's going to create a little drop down where you'll see all the different bank options. And then once you link your bank account, it'll take you to the option right here where you can either choose to pay annually or monthly. It's the same price, it's just broken out, in the actual increments of when you pay. Totally up to you. If I always have the option and there's not an extra fee, I always choose to do the monthly one just so that I don't have to pay it all up front. But this is a relatively small amount, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal either way, but totally your personal preference right here. Then it'll allow you to read the membership agreement, some of the terms and things as well, so feel free to read those if that is of interest to you. And you'll click Start My Membership, and here we get going. This is where the fun part actually starts, and we can kind of see more of the investment side of things as well. So there we go. Only good things happen when Women Plus have more money. Love it. Amen. All right, so then we're going to go up to this Explore My Plan option. And what's going to happen here, so there's 3 sections here. Start your investment plan, which is where we'll actually be focusing on. And there's work on short-term money goals as well. And then the on-demand learning, which is another great resource. So if we just kind of click on this first one, why investing? And this is something that kind of talks about, like compounding, but also just the idea that your money is going to grow over the long run. If you're invested, your money will grow a lot more in an investing account that's very strategically set up, not necessarily in complex and risky investments compared to if you just had it sitting around in a savings account or under your mattress or something like that. So even if you don't have too much money to start investing with, you can start small and it'll continue to grow. And Ellevest is just going to kind of use a very diversified portfolio for you, so you can read a little bit more about this once you get onto this screen. But a mix of stocks, bonds, and alternative investments as well. And I think the great thing is that you don't have to stress about some of these options. Ellevest is going to do it all for you. The other really cool thing that they do is their impact portfolios, which is about women in leadership, community development, and sustainability as well. So you can actually focus some of your investments on that. So what you're looking at right now is just kind of based off some of the information I put in. That was just like some test information. It'll give you kind of an estimate of what amount of money it thinks that you should be aiming for over the next 20 years is what the timeline is for mine. And it gives you this really cool graph that shows you how much, depending on how the stock market does, what the range of outcomes are that your portfolio could be. And then on this right-hand side, you'll see this is where you can kind of test out different hypotheses for, if I were to deposit, in this case, $25 a month and start with $100 in my account, what would it look like after 20 years? It gives you the option to change for the impact portfolio as well. So in my case, I'm going to put this on because I think that's an awesome option. So you'll see, if I'm investing this amount here, and actually one other thing too is just the risk level. So you can actually change how much risk you want to do. Again, completely up to your preference. If you feel a little bit like you want to take a little bit more risk because maybe you're younger and you have more time to make it back, or that's something that is available to you, you can do that. And then, they've used gender, salary, and education to basically personalize the portfolio to you as well. So it's just a great screen. I'd say play around here, kind of mess around with some of the numbers, depending on what your ability is to do monthly deposits or that first one-time deposit as well. And you can just kind of see how that would grow as well here. So, after 20 years, just depositing $25 a month, it's basically going to get me up to $14K. That's kind of, again, just an estimate. It's not the guarantee. And then you can just kind of see how it grows very drastically. If I were to change that to $500, you see now the estimate would be $283,000. So, I'd say it also maybe will help you to think a little bit more about, saving some money or reducing expenses, whatever it might be, so that you can put more of it into investments. Because over time, if you start early, even if you don't start early, but just having that consistent investment or consistent deposit into an investment account where you don't really have to think about it, you don't have to stress about it, and that someone trusted is looking over it, it can be really helpful for you. So again, the range can vary quite greatly from, in this case, 198 at the low estimate up to 408 at the high, but just something for you to think about there. Then when you click continue, this is where you can kind of adjust, what that deposit is that you want to do. So you just kind of maybe ran some tests, kind of saw what that looked like, and you can adjust this too. So maybe you start for the first year at a certain number, and then you want to adjust it as well. It's really easy to do that. So in this case, just for this test right here, we'll start with $100, or we can go up to $1 billion if we want, but we'll start with 100 for now. And the next section down here is going to be like kind of the auto deposit. So this is where every month maybe you get a paycheck, you can automatically or you can toggle this on or off, and you can choose to deposit a certain amount from your bank account every single month, where you don't have to think about it; it'll just do it for you. I think sometimes if that is available to you, it can be a great option depending on your situation. So again, it'll depend on your own financial situation. But let's say I just wanted to put, I think we'll just say 250 for now. We can change the frequency to monthly. We can say we want to start on the first of the month. We can do twice a month, or you can do quarterly as well. So you do have some options there if you do want to turn that on. We'll click click Save and Continue, and then we'll just do complete funding. So basically this is just some agreement here as well, just so you can kind of understand that they're going to take money from your account, put it into Ellevest. And then once you click and you sign that, it'll take you back to that initial, the 3 first steps you have. So we just did the investment plan. We'll take a look at that again towards the end of this video because there's some other cool things that we can show you. And then you can also work on your short-term money goals and the on-demand learning. So let's just check that out real quick just so you can kind of see. So this is where, they'll do webinars. They also have some great blogs here that they break down into different categories, like how to spend your money, how to learn about investing and learning about retirement, finding a new job. So it kind of runs a broad spectrum of just some really helpful things related to finance, but also just things that can complement your financial situation, like resume building or interviewing for jobs or negotiating for better salaries, things like that. And then if you kind of come at the top right, you'll just see some of the different easy drop downs. But let's actually just go back into this investing section here. We're going to click Build Wealth. So see right now we have 0, obviously, because the money hasn't been deposited in yet, but hopefully, that'll increase as we go on. The monthly payment, at least that we've put in the test account right now, is $250. You can adjust that, edit it, and then the target goal, that's just based off of that information again that you answered the questions for when you were originally doing that. And then if we come over to the goal, you'll see right now, based off of the amount that I'm investing, so monthly at $250, I'm actually going to be below the target that Ellevest recommends for me. So we can click on this and we can kind of edit and see how I need to save or how I need to invest each month to get closer to that goal. So you'll notice if I change that to 500,000, then I'm right next to that goal that they put me on. So the 250 was maybe too low. And again, you don't have to follow exactly what their goal says. But it's just kind of a good way for you to start thinking about preparing and maybe things that you can kind of work towards as well. Then if I go to the investments tab, this is a really interesting thing. I think it's something, if you don't know too much about investing, this can be maybe seem daunting, but it's actually a really useful thing for you to check out. So this is where you can see the impact portfolio, and you'll see that, again, you're investing in women in leadership, sustainable, accountable companies, and community development. And the average fee funds, you'll see right there, it says 0.13 to 0.2. So those are fees that are going to be in addition to your $1 a month plan. And those are basically just all the different funds that it's invested in will basically charge a very tiny little fee. So you'll notice with the core one, it's a little bit lower than the impact one. So those are just something to be aware of, that those are fees that you'll also have to pay. And then again, this is that cool graph that we saw before where it'll just kind of show you how your investments can grow over time. So it's something cool just to play around with and see how that can grow for you as well. And again, just kind of taking a look that the difference can be quite substantial from if it's a poor stock market compared to the standard, or if it's really great, technically it's like a 2x change. But then as you scroll down too, this is where all the different funds that you would be invested in. Again, you don't have to make any of these decisions, which I think is really great. It removes the stress from you. But you can research them if you want to see what's invested by Ellevest for you. But they're going to automatically curate this depending on those questions that you answered at the start. So no decisions have to be made by you. You'll just see a combination of stocks, bonds, and some other alternative investments as well. So that is the quick overview, and if there's any other questions, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help do another video. I actually really like the UI of this. I think it's pretty easy to use, but I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time on Quinn Talks Money.